Going on to you Leos out there. Let's get into it. Give me a couple of seconds. Okay. All right, let's get into it. So for you Leos, we have the Two of Cups, Knight of Cups. We have the Queen of Pentacles, the Judgment, Nine of Pentacles, King of Swords, Five of Cups, Three of Swords, the Hanged Man, last but not least, the Seven of Pentacles. Interesting. It's for Leo. So for you Leos, you have the Two of Cups, the Knight of Wands, the Two of Cups, the Knight of Cups, and the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, so this was a relationship that you tried to do something, okay? You tried to move forward in this relationship, but it didn't necessarily work out. This person was too caught up in a past relationship that they were in. So you Leos decided to actually just go about your business because you realized dealing with them, look at how they're paying attention to the Pentacle. They're paying attention to their past loved one, how this loved one did them wrong, but look at what you were offering. Look at what you were capable of showing them, or how a real relationship is supposed to be, and you wanted to offer them that, but they spent so much time thinking about a past individual, right? Shows you where their mind was. So the Chariot is that, so you Leos decided to say, forget about it, go off, do your own thing, and move forward with your lives, as you should. But then you have the Nine of Pentacles. But you have these people who are now that you don't want them anymore, doing things, right? Specifically, people who are around you, as far as they know you, maybe they know you and they live around in your area. Now they're trying to do things to get your attention, because pay attention to the directions that their body and their neck or their head is. Their body is facing you while their head is facing not in your direction, which means that they're trying their hardest not to stare at you, right? Like they say, staring at the sun, right? So because of how beautiful and radiant it is, right? Bright it is. So the thing is that the next card is the King of Swords, which is about, but you know that they're looking at you. You know that they want you though, because you saw them looking at you. They don't necessarily have any kind of real excuse to be around in your side of town. That is, if they don't live near you or whatever, or if it takes them traveling to get to your side of town. Maybe even if you may live in the same neighborhood, they're going to your spots, right? Because they may have seen you go to a spot, or you may have met them in a particular spot. So now they're there, and you Leos are like, what is going on? If you didn't like me, you would think that you would stay away from me, or at the very least, don't talk to me, right? Like, we can exist in the same place and still have a level of respect for each other, right? But you seem to be over here a lot, trying to act like, that's how you Leos are thinking to yourselves. This person's over in your area, in your space a lot, trying to act like they are not trying to pay you any attention with this Nine of Pentacles. And the thing is that the Five of Cups and the Three of Swords represents, it looks sad. I mean, the cards look sad itself. Because it is sad. Because it's the ideology that they are having where they can't get over. Where, again, they're trying to prove that they're so much better than you and that you need them. It's a pretty offbeat perspective. It's a pretty dysfunctional. It's a very strong dysfunctional perspective, right? Because it's like, okay, all right, but everyone has potential as a living being, right? But how do we prove value, right? What is the equation for value? Well, the equation, if you're going to do it correctly, that is, the correct equation for value is it has to start internally and then branch out externally. Scorpio, internal power and start and then travel externally outside of yourself. It's never the other way around. Because if it's the other way around, that's where the lost cause come from. Meaning you're doing all these things in vain and you never really succeed in the long term. And that's the same situation that this person's got here. Now listen to how this person thinks. They're trying to get you to be in a relationship with them by trying to do and say things, by playing all these types of pranks and acting like they are independent from you and playing all these games like they don't want you around, to get you to think that they're that much more busier than you and more important than you, even though they want you, who is less important to them, and you're the last thing on the list according to them, or the front that they're trying to put off. They want you around though. Do you see how dysfunctional that mentality is? So the hangman and the hangman and seven of pentacles, I'm about to say something real ruthless. The hangman and the seven of pentacles represents, this is about how they've essentially really painted themselves into their own corner with their own mischief, right? Because they really crossed their own selves. They really kind of slipped and tripped over their own untied shoelaces, because they didn't have the functionality. They wasn't socialized correctly. They never learned how to socialize correctly. They're dysfunctional when it comes to socializing, right? In other words, they are not socialized in any stretch, shape, form, or fashion. A socialite is an individual who is able to get along with a lot of different people because they know how to communicate their thoughts well. That gets them in a way that is complementary to other people, so that other people want to fight for them, along with them, on their side. That's what a socialite is, right? Or one of the attributes, I should say, of a socialite. But the question that I have for you, Leos, is, and this is something that I want you to think of, is how can a person be a socialite if they're running around rubbing people the wrong way that they interact with? They're not. So let's clarify the hangman. So you have the Knight of Cups, okay? You have the Wheel of Fortune, okay? And then you have the Three of Pentacles. So the hangman is a water card. It represents Pisces anyway. So the Knight of Cups represents how, so this is you traveling away from them, right? And doing your own thing, right? Because you understand, whoa, these people are not up to par. They're kind of not the brightest bulb on the tree or the sharpest knife in the drawer, because they're crisscrossing themselves and getting themselves tied up with their own thought process of this long drawn out plan, right? So the thing is that the Wheel of Fortune and the Three of Pentacles is about, but so you're kind of seeing how these people are getting their just desserts, because they're even confusing their own selves with the plans that this overly complicated plan. Because all of this over complication, Leo, is really because they like you. It's just that, again, they don't know how to socialize correctly in a way that works for them, right? The Three of Pentacles means, so the next step that they're going to try to, the next thing that they're going to try to do, Leo, is they're going to try to like get someone recruited into their little game, where they may pull someone in to act like they're their new they're their new partner to get you jealous. It's not gonna work. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna work. It never does. But they're gonna try though. Let's clarify the Seven of Pentacles. Okay, so you have the Chariot, the Knight of Wands, and the Ace of Cups. Okay, so the Chariot is about here that again, this is just more proof. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. They've just stalemated themselves. It's not gonna work. They're coming up with all these plans instead of them just walking up to you and saying, that they like you and they want to hang out with you and get to know you on that level. But it can't be that simple. It got to be overly complicated. It has to be this overly complicated, long drawn out plan, Leo. It got to be all that. And then the Knight of Wands is that the Knight of Wands represents you're paying attention to them, but you're only kind of glimpsing. You're still going about your business though. You know what I'm saying? You're just watching at how satirical or comical it is. And then the thing is that the Ace of Cups represents. Not only is it not going to work, but they're just going to make themselves look even more satirical for you Leos, due to the fact that you Leos are seeing right through all their antics and their games. They could have just came up to you and said something, but that's pretty much it. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe. Peace, y'all.